Hey there, I'm Digi. Do you like weird video games? Well, I found 7 weird fantasy-themed games that you could play for free or name your own price. Let's have a look. First up is Vermis. This is a fan game based on the grimdark horror tabletop RPG that doesn't exist. It's literally just an art book by the artist known as Plastaboo and published by Hollow Press. There's plenty of other videos out there on the setting, but just know you can check out the original art book for free on archive.org. This being a fan-made game, the developer tried to mix old MS-DOS terminal games with the art book's characters, monsters, and settings. We begin on a character select screen where we're given a selection from a variety of miserable characters, such as the formerly heroic Lost Old Glory, or the Stone Scholar, one of a cohort of mages who tie sharp stones to themselves to force themselves to live in agony and somehow gain some penance. The game itself plays like a visual text adventure. We can go in various directions, inspect things, talk, attack, equip gear, and take anything that we see. The game doesn't precisely give an exact goal, but we're generally drawn to travel forward through the dungeons and the wilderness. Now, as much as I like the setting and what they've done here, I have to admit the game is a little bit frustrating if you don't have the patience. The game has random encounters, and these crazy bones guys are easy to kill but still have a chance to hit you. I'm playing the knight and I can really only survive 3 hits before I'm dead. This becomes a real issue when you get to the first boss, the Stench Champion. You're basically relying on RNG and hoping you don't get hit twice during the fight. I more or less had to brute force the encounter to get this footage of the areas beyond. If you have the patience, you can level up a number of times and increase your health and your durability. Other than that, the only other complaints I have involve how specific the text parser is. I can't use mushroom. I can't eat mushroom. I have to use catacomb mushroom. I do recommend this game though if you find the setting interesting. Just make sure you level up a bunch first. Next up is Inner Life. I included this one because I found the aesthetics and the setting interesting. We play this mechanic of sorts who travels through the desert looking for giant sentient robots called Titans with mechanical issues that need to be fixed. We climb on inside and have a look at the various engines, valves, and piping to see what we can do. After doing this, we have a discussion with the Titan who's really petulant for some reason. Loneliness seems to be a big theme in this one. We rinse and repeat, moving along to other Titans. Some of them even have people inside. Anyway, the only significant issue with this game is that there's no saving, so you'll have to start from the beginning if you stop. Seems like the developers did this in a week or 2 as a school project or something like that. So it's understandable they may not have had the foresight, but still. I do recommend it, just be aware. Next is Greed and Darkness. This one's just a demo, but so far I enjoy the concept. As part of our village's coming-of-age tradition, we enter this dungeon with the task of grabbing a significant amount of treasure to take home. It kinda gives off the aesthetic of an old-school first-person dungeon crawler. We have a map of the dungeon as well as a torch and a watch that lets us know we have 8 days to complete our task. But watch out, because the dungeon is full of these executioner-looking guys. We can douse the torch to sneak away from them, or we can just fight them if you have a sword. The dungeon also has a safe room you can rest in, as well as a store where you can buy supplies. Some of the parts of the dungeon can only be accessed if you place your sword in the receptacle. This is where you really need to watch out, because now you're defenseless. The combat's quite challenging, and I wasn't able to totally get the hang of it myself. It has to do with slashing in various directions, as well as timing properly. Sometimes I was able to do it, but sometimes I wasn't. I get the feeling you're really supposed to avoid combat in this game. If you're defeated, the day advances by 1, and you lose your stocked up gold. I'm curious to see where this one goes in the future, but for now, seems like it's still in development. Next is Storyseeker. This one plays a little bit similarly to Inner Life, but it's a bit more stripped to the studs, if you will. Our only goal here is to explore the little world we find ourselves in. On top of that, there really aren't any other gameplay mechanics besides walking around. Every time we touch one of these stones, we see one activated here in this village. We need to find them all. It's a little tough to piece together, but it seems like most of the people in this world were displaced by some kind of cataclysm. We have fish stuck forever under the ice in this sector here. And in this sector, we have a ruined city populated by ghosts. All we get are hints as to what could have gone on here. I don't know what happens when you've touched all the stones, but consider this as a potential palate cleanser for you between 2 other games. Between the Brain and Guts. Now, you might be asking yourself, fantasy? Oh, this doesn't look like fantasy. Whoa, buddy, wait until you see the sheer amount of lore going on here. This is another demo. It starts off with an incredible intro crawl depicting a realm made up of 2 cones end on end with various levels within. After that, we're treated to this bizarre intro sequence where we, this mutant guy, slowly gains control over our hands and legs. We wake up in this horrible place. It's full of creatures similar to us, only they have cabinets on our heads. This blob guy wants us to fix his TV because he can't move, and this is all he can do to lower his awareness of the world around him. Really dark, dude. In terms of controls, this game is very basic. Just walk around and look at stuff. For whatever reason, the developer left in some of what I think might be Polish in one of the dialogue lines. The main thing I want to show you is just look at how much lore went into this. Look at this. It's so dense. A lot of thought went into this. There's a lot of discussion about creatures being born into a state of suffering, where only the boxes on their heads help them live in a fantasy world so they don't have to comprehend how awful the world is around them. We're one of the ones who just woke up and now we have to deal with that. If this looks remotely interesting to you, I encourage you to check it out. Just know that it's a fairly short demo. More like a proof of concept, really. I'm very interested to see if anything else comes of this, because, wow. Plead with the Mountain God. This is a platforming game. It starts with us carrying someone to a tower. It took me like 15 minutes of slowly inching around before I realized I could just put her down on the platform here. For whatever reason, we're climbing the tower, but the inside is all in ruins after many years. This is one of those going up type games, you know, like getting over it or only up, except it's nowhere near as difficult or trolly. For one thing, you get checkpoints. You also get power-ups as you advance, like the ability to knock down these sections of wall. You can also collect these red hearts if you're interested. I have no idea what happens after you get them all, but there they are. I'd say this is probably a nice hour-long experience for someone who likes this kind of thing. Okay, last game. Blue Suburbia. This is an extra strange one, but it's actually kind of heavy too. We start off in this swamp walking towards this eye. Regular 3D gameplay is interspersed with this interesting 2D gameplay that kind of recalls old Atari 2600 games. Unfortunately, this game is loud, like way too loud. I have no idea why they couldn't equalize the sound effects, but it's almost ear-splitting if you're trying to keep the BGM at a reasonable level. Now, despite this, I pressed on and found some rather unique aesthetics and graphics going on here. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed. Slowly, we come to the realization that we, the player character, are inside our own mind trying to recover from something traumatic that happened to us, as evidenced by what these giant eyeballs say to you. A little bit heavy-handed, for sure. Eventually, we meet this witch that has a secret to our overcoming our situation, but we need to find a hand, an eye, and a heart. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out quite what to do or where to go after this, as the game just kind of spits you out into this area with giant flowers and you're left to figure it out on your own. Despite this, I think it's worth checking out if you can handle the sound weirdness. Just keep in mind that while I'm not showing it, this game also may not be good for people with photosensitivity. Alright, there you have it. 7 fantasy games you can play for free or name your own price. Hey, wanna watch me play weird and unique games live? Consider checking me out on Twitch sometime. I stream a few times a week on Eastern American time. Hey, do you know a game that I might want to check out? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, see you next time.